people, it's
Hey,
Cole, aka Cybertronics from RetroReverbRecords. Today I am here with another artist for another interview. Mauro, can you introduce yourself and tell us what your artist name is, please?
Hi, Cole. First of all, thank you for having me here in this interview. So my name is Mauro, and my musical name, let's say, is Six Leaves Left. And yeah, that's basically, it's a solo project. So I'm the one doing everything behind the scene. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm very happy to be here, man.
We're really glad to have you here too. Thank you so much for coming on. You're our second non-retro reverb record artist, but I've got another 4 or 5 artists lined up after you, so you'll be one of many. But thank you so much for reaching out to us and coming on board. Right, so Mauro, look, I live in Sicily. I've lived in Italy for a few years. I can tell the name's Italian. You're Italian, is that correct?
Yes, I'm from Sardinia, the other island, actually.
The other islands, the cleaner island, I've heard, with the nice beaches.
yeah. Well, the sea is probably cleaner, but yeah, of course, I love Sicily too. I've been there. My best friend is from Palermo. So
oh, really? Okay.
I've been there. Yeah.
I've never been to Sardinia myself, but it's absolutely one of the places that I must go. I've heard fantastic things about it. And actually, to be honest, I'm an English teacher, and some of the job offers out there are very good. So maybe I will come out there. Okay. Right. Listen. Talk to me about your name. The first thing that interested me about you when I saw your submission and we started talking about possibly coming on for the interview was your name. Can you tell me about what was the inspiration or how you decided to call yourself this name?
Yeah, actually the inspiration was something very simple. Some years ago, I was sometimes smoking and I used to roll my own cigarettes, and I don't know if it's a German thing. So if it's something in the, when you buy tobacco and the papers, and in the papers at the end, when you reach the last 6, basically there is a message, and it's like 6 leaves left. And I said, all right, that sounds cool.
Actually, that is super cool. So kind of them, so thoughtful.
Yeah, I said, yeah, thank you guys. That's gonna be my name. But basically, it's like when in the tree there are only few leaves left, and you're waiting for the fall to come, right? Mm-hmm. And this is like the last moment before the tree is totally naked, let's say. Mm-hmm. So the previous season is over, and this new season it is more melancholic, and this is, let's say, the reason behind the name. So it's a combination of the two.
Would you say it's like the death of something, but the birth of something new?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
It's also the fact that it's like someone is telling you, hey, it's 6 leaves left, so you don't have so much time, It's.
I have to say, Mauro, I really, really love the name. At first, I looked at it and I thought to myself, that doesn't sound very 80s. I can't understand what the retro angle is for this name. But that's, I thought about it more and more, and I thought, you know what, it's so unique and interesting and cool. And then I've had a look at your Bandcamp page. I've checked out your music and stuff, which I thought was really awesome.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I mean that. I'm not just, blowing smoke up your ass. It's a very interesting album. It's a really unique. I will get into where you drew the inspiration from that later on, but just to start off with, if it had been absolutely terrible, I wouldn't have invited you on for an interview. So it's a good start. All right,
thank you for saying that. Yeah.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Absolutely. And can I, just quickly, one more thing. Are you in Berlin at the moment?
Yes, I'm in Berlin.
And why are you in Berlin?
That's a good question. Actually, I've been living before Berlin in Ireland. I was in Dublin for 3 years, so I was working there. Then I moved to Barcelona for 1 year, and then I came here in 2010. So it's already 2011. So it's 9 years I'm here in Germany, Berlin.
9 years, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And just so that, you know, people who check out your music and think, oh, I like this guy, get to know a little bit about you, I assume that you've been traveling for your work?
Well, yes, I've been working in those countries, but not the same job. So
do you do anything interesting, or?
Oh, I don't think it's very interesting, man. But I do it when I don't play music. I do HR. So,
okay.
But I work for Spain and Italy. So basically, I work in Spanish the whole time.
Right. Okay.
But I've changed many jobs. So for different reasons, I moved. I wanted to, to live in different countries, and that's mainly why I changed places so many times. Yeah, hopefully this will be the last one if I don't go back to Italy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, well, many people do. I've traveled much myself. I'm an English teacher. I've taught in many different countries. I've traveled the world. And, personally, for me, this is part of life. It's an experience. I don't know how long I'll continue traveling for, because I've got a family now and a wife. But I won't stop traveling. I will change the way I travel, probably. But when I retire, my dream is that if Retro Reverb Records makes enough money, and I'm not about money, but if we make enough that I'm comfortable, I'm going to buy one of these camper vans, like a house home, and drive around with my wife when my children are grown up, and travel the world one more time before I die.
This is super funny, because now you're telling me this. A couple of days ago, I was with a friend, and he was telling me the same, that he really wanted to buy a van, and we were talking about this, and it's super cool. I think it's a great idea. I will love it too. I don't think I'm gonna do that, because I love to be in a van, but for a short time, I think. But
when I was younger,
I think it's an awesome idea. It's really cool.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. There was a little bit of lag. When I was younger, when I was 27. Something like this. I traveled the world, and I spent 2 months traveling Australia in a camper van, and such good memories, such fantastic memories from this trip. Okay, listen. So look, I checked out your Bandcamp page. I listened to your music. I loved the consistency of the sound. I loved the sound. We'll talk about the sound later on. I also quite like the artwork. One thing I noticed, and we spoke about this off air, was that it was quite minimal. The artwork was quite sort of, there's not that much going on your Bandcamp page. I liked the piece of artwork you chose for the album. What was the inspiration behind the artwork?
Well, the artwork for the last album was made by Tony Skeor. Or Skier, I really don't know how to pronounce that.
Would you be able to send me his details so that I can put them in the link below?
Of course, I'll do that.
Thank you.
I think it's pretty famous in the scene, because he made so many album covers for other artists, also some important artists, some good ones. And the idea behind, I have to say, I gave him the basic idea, and he developed the whole thing. But the idea was basically this feeling of being trapped in a place in a way that you care until a certain point, because you can see this person on a computer, and a huge wave is coming.
Yes.
And you see the person doesn't bother that much. So it was a bit the feeling that I had while this year, when we were all in lockdown, in our houses, and you are just stuck on a desk, maybe on your computer, and you know that outside or somewhere there's something wrong or something dangerous for you, but you're kind of, what can I do? You know, I'm here, I'm going on with my life. And that was the idea behind the cover, basically. So the way, yeah.
Sorry, interrupted again. I'm still learning to. I'm still learning how to be a good interviewer. I apologize.
I have no idea how to do that, so man, go ahead.
Honestly, it's something I've noticed. You're like my 6th interview, and I keep interrupting. So,
no worries.
I'm trying my best. So I was just going to say, was the album made during lockdown?
I started in September 2019, and I ended the whole thing in April 2020. So okay. Yeah, it was part in the lockdown part, but I mean the cover art came during the lockdown. The idea behind just came exactly during the lockdown period, the first period of this pandemic.
Okay. And just for those people watching this who might be interested to check out your music, what's the name of the album? And I will put the link below.
I will. It's Deleted File Recovery. And yeah, I will. You're gonna put the link so they can see what I'm.
No, it's all right. I know the link. I've got it already because I checked it out. Don't worry about it. I'll put it in there for you. Yeah, it's okay. It's just the other guy. I didn't know who he was, so I probably could have read it on the artwork, but I didn't do that much homework.
That's fine.
I'm really sorry. All right, hold on. Let me just get up the next question because I've forgotten what it is. Right. Okay. Right. So listen, I've got my opinion about your sounds, but would you like to describe to the people listening what you feel your sound is?
Sure, and then I want to hear your opinion, of course. So I think it's very hard to describe your own sound. I really love, I don't know if you know White Lies. It's an English band, and it's a very good. I really love them. I saw them live a few times.
Am I allowed to Google them quickly just to check if I know?
Go ahead.
I'll give it a quick. I know the expression "white lies." Hold on, white lies.
Yeah, I think they started in 2006 or 7, something like that.
No, I don't. I have to be honest. I don't recognize them. 2007. Oh, they're from Ealing in London. Do you know what? I'm from London. Ealing is the town, literally the town next door to me. So, you know, I'm talking 10 minutes away from me.
So check that out, man. It's a good band.
Punk, post-punk, okay, right. New wave. All right, okay.
Yeah, so I think I've been influenced very much by their sound, especially at the beginning. And yeah, some other bands I've been listening for a long time, like I don't know if you know the Jezebels.
Yes.
From Australia. Yeah, and there are other 1,000 names. I'm not gonna stay here and tell you like 200 names now.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I really like to combine different sounds and not just synthwave. I really love rock and the mix between rock and electronic music.
Would you say that there was a rock element in your album?
I think there is definitely a rock element. Well, apart the guitars, probably also the structure of the songs. Yeah, I think there are many rock elements. I have no idea if you feel that, you know.
Yeah. No,
I do know that, but I don't know.
Okay, a difficult question, like, you know, and one that's not necessarily important. But if you had to put yourself in a sort of subgenre of synthwave, would you say that you are just synthwave, new retrowave, dreamwave, shredwave? Where would you sort of aim your sound at? Difficult question, I know.
I have no idea. I don't know, man. Seriously, I check it out many times. This thing about, you know, all the subgenre, but I don't really, sometimes I don't get it, because most of the bands, they say, you know, I'm doing dreamwave or I'm doing chill wave, and maybe you hear a couple of songs and they are similar to that kind of music, but then it's totally, the other 3 or 4 songs are totally different. So for my music, as I really do different tracks, and sometimes it's not just synthwave. For example, this last album, there are a couple of tracks there that probably don't have anything to do with synthwave. You know, there is a song is just guitar, everything we left behind, or the last track is more like a soundtrack. So I don't think it's possible for me to say, hey, I'm
this or that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you asked me earlier on what was my opinion of your music. And actually what you've said is kind of reinforced what I think, because when I listened to it, I thought, you know what, this is retro, this is electric, you know, I can hear some guitars. I'll be honest, I didn't listen all the way through every single track on your album. I kind of picked 4 or 5 tracks to get a feel of the album, because if I listened to every single track of every single artist who ever sent me music, I would basically die, because I would have no life, and I've got a kid and family and stuff like that. But what you were saying, and I don't, you know, for people out there who think this is a bit pretentious, you know, finger quotes, I couldn't place it. That was the thing that, one, I really liked, and second of all, I just liked the sound. So it didn't matter if I could place it or not. The first thing was I was thinking, you know, where does this go? Yeah, I felt it was relevant to me and the music that we produce and listen to. But I couldn't say exactly this is this is that. And the second point was I just liked it. You know, I guess it wasn't like, when you say there's a rock element in it, it was definitely not like heavy rock.
No, not heavy rock, for sure.
No, it was more soft and almost, in some ways, I guess, verging on chill or dream more than anything else. From the songs that I heard, like you said, there's a couple of other songs. Maybe I missed something, but you know, I'll hold my hands up if I missed a track, and I've kind of missed the point there. But I really like the fact that it was original, and I listened to the album, and it's not something I've heard before, and I think that's a huge compliment to you. Like, to make something that attracted me, but is also not something I've heard before.
That's cool. Happy to hear that.
Good, I'm glad. Right, okay, next question. So tell me, you know, you can talk about your past here, your musical past, but, you know, what attracted you, or why are you involved in this scene? What's going on?
I think I'm involved in this scene because last year I made an EP. It was just 2 songs. They were cover songs. The title was Heroes. And I got in contact with Julian Green, that is, you know, handling the Night Ride FM.
Jules.
Yeah. I said
lovely guy. Green, absolutely lovely guy. Shout out to Jules. Just quickly, shout out to Jules.
He's a great guy. Yeah. He actually asked me, hey man, I really love your music. We're gonna play one track on our radio, you know, program, but why are you not on Twitter, you know? And I said, okay, I don't really thought about that, and I didn't really like Twitter that much, to be honest. And
I'm on it all the time.
Yeah. And then when he said that, I say, hey, there is a very cool music scene, synthwave scene over there, so you should join it, and blah blah blah. And I did it, and actually together with Dimi.
Sorry?
Dimi Kaye.
Okay.
You know the artist. So they just pushed me in this scene and helped me so much to get in contact with all the other guys over there. It was super cool, because I had no idea something like that could exist you know, it's like a little family, and
Yeah.
everybody help each other, and it's something different that I've ever seen in music, to be honest, because usually, you know, artists, even if they are friends, there is always this kind of competition, and sometimes very hard to get real, you know, people you can trust, or there is a bit different. Of course, it's not everything beautiful like everywhere, but it's cool, and I was really happy to get.
Do you know what the Retro Reverb Records motto is or logo is? Have you heard it?
No, no.
It's
Which
welcome
one?
to the family. That's our motto, welcome to the family, and it's based on two points. The first one is that we are from Sicily, so we originate. So and the partner, the guy who helped me organize the company, is Italian, and we wanted an Italian connection. And we thought, what's more Italian than family? You know, the dinner, going around to the grandparents for dinner, the whole family are there. You know, they take their family very seriously, especially here in the south, in Sicily, anyway. And then also there's a connection to the scene with the family, like you're saying, people look after each other. So we thought it was really appropriate to have "Welcome to the Family" as our logo for Retro Reverb Records. Motto, sorry.
It totally makes sense. Yeah, it's how I felt. I mean, last year, and even though I have to say I'm not so much into social media, so I'm not posting stuff every day, or you know, but I try to keep in contact at least with the people I really enjoy talking to in the family, and yeah. So you got a great motto over there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, listen, let's move on. Right. Okay, so you know the scene is a lovely place, and that is true. Okay, Mauro. So my next question is: when you're making music, what frustrates you?
It's the fact that you probably do 100 songs and then just one is working. That's the most frustrating thing ever. Yeah, you can imagine.
I completely understand. I don't know how many songs I've got in my library. I just like, no. And I don't know why. And like the thing is, I don't know if you agree. I think to myself, I always think to myself, maybe if I was just a better artist, I would know why this song wasn't working. But I just think to myself, it's not working and I can't find a solution. So I get really frustrated.
But I do think that you learn with time that even though, you know, it doesn't matter if you, it depends how much time you spend on it, I think. Because sometimes you think you have no clue, but you always have a clue. Because the day after, when you listen to that song and you say, oh, Jesus, what did I do? Did the whole evening before? You know, this is crap. That's already, you know that already that song is not good. But you have to face the fact that you're gonna spend like a lot of time like this, doing stuff that you're not gonna release ever, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I think as well that sometimes with experience, sometimes it's the more experience you get, you understand that maybe one part of the song is okay. And you think to yourself, this part's okay. And you need to have the courage to throw the rest of the song away, keep
exactly
that one piece of the song and say, I know this is good. I like this. I have to rethink how I'm going to use this piece. I also think as well, all artists have a natural tendency to what they're good at. And some artists are very good and they can cross styles. They can do dream wave, synth pop, dark wave, and then go into metal and then go into electro house and stuff like that. And you know, they're very talented. For most of us, we have to work to improve the areas that we're not good at, the sounds that we're not good at. So if you're a naturally talented, for example, dark wave artist who makes, you know, very sort of dark sounding, cinematic, you know, metal almost type synthwave, but you want to then go and make a synth pop album, you have to accept your limitations and maybe take advice and work really hard to make that sound. But usually most people can make different sounds. It's just like everything in life, we have a talent towards, we're better at some things than other things. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I do think that some people really spend much more time than others on music. So if you, for example, you don't have like a normal job during the day, you have more time to spend, you can get probably also better result, or at least a good result in a shorter time, you know. But definitely there is a part that is like, you don't know where this stuff is coming from. So maybe, I don't know, we don't have what this other guy have, you know, has what he has. And then you never know with music. But I do think that working hard is the key, at least to, you know, to go from here to here, at least with your skills, even if you don't have so many, but you can improve a lot.
I honestly, I could not agree with you more. I think it's very easy for people to look at people they admire, who they think, you know, are excellent, or look at, you can, it doesn't have to be music. It could be, I don't know, sports or actors or writers, and think to yourself, oh my God, these people are so talented. I'm just not talented. I just can't do what they did. But the truth of the story is that these people practiced hundreds and thousands of times, and they put in hours and hours and hours and hours of work to get to the level that they are. Yeah, they may have had a natural talent, but even with natural talent, if you do not work, you cannot get there. So I think, you know, that's I really like that message. So for people, for aspiring artists out there who want to get involved in the scene, and you see people and you think, oh my God, I can never be as good as them. Just practice. It's hours and hours. It's tutorials. It's advice. It's speaking to other people.
Exactly.
Trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is, anyway, for me, I mean, that's so far in all the interviews I've had, I think that's probably the best piece of advice I've heard so far. So I really appreciate it.
Wow.
No, it reminds me of something like, you know, when I was a young kid, I wanted to be a football player. And, you know, I don't want to sound too arrogant, but actually I'm a pretty good football player. But I practiced so much when I was a kid, like just kicking a ball against the wall and trying to control it, or kicking it up over and over again until, you know, I could go from 10 kick-ups to 20 kick-ups to 100 kick-ups. So now if someone gives me a ball, I could probably sit there for 45 minutes kicking a ball up without any problems. But the thing is, it seems easy to me now, but it took me 10 years, you know, practicing that every day as a kid, you know. So it's not easy. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same with guitar, for example. When you don't play for a while and then you take it back and you still remember how to play it, you know, but of course, you need to practice a lot. Otherwise, your finger gets slower, and but it's still there.
Your brain remembers shapes, you know, the shapes in your fingers to make the chords, the shape of my body when I'm kicking a football up, the shape of the sound of a piece of music, even when you draw, like the strokes that you make. Yeah. So yeah, no one becomes, even geniuses, no one becomes a genius overnight. No matter what anyone says, everyone has to practice.
Yeah. You have to work on it.
We kind of touched on this, so we've. My next question was any advice to other artists. So obviously, practice. Is there anything else that you would suggest?
Not really. I mean, just if you like it and you want to do it, just work on it all the time, whenever you have free time. The problem is, you know, when you have, I mean, when you probably have a girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend, or you have another job stuff, so you have to find your time.
Distractions.
Find your time, yeah, to do that. Even though it's very hard, I know, but you have to find the time always. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Of course, it's like everything in life. There's, you know, you got, it's balance, isn't it? It's like, you know, there's time for example, drinking wine, or there's time for doing some exercise, and there's time for when you have to work or when you have to study, and then there's time for when you have to make music, and time for your family and friends. And the people who manage those their commitments the most effectively are probably the most successful, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think it's, apart from music, I mean, whatever you like to do, it's just so many people, I think they just quit doing those things, you know. It can be painting, or I don't know. The point is, then after years, I saw some friends or people I know that they were asking themselves, why, you know, I'm not really satisfied with what I'm doing, but yeah, the salary is good and blah, blah, blah. But the point is, I think when you leave, if you have a strong passion that can be music, and you just, you know, put it aside and you don't work on it anymore, and you know that you are doing it wrong, you know that you should do it, that's when, you know, you start feeling that something is missing in your life. And that's when you should keep doing it the whole time, even if people tell you, you know, what the hell are you doing? You're like already, I don't know, you're 50 or even 40, 60, I don't know. And you keep doing this shit, do it.
Yeah, but
anyway.
if we took that approach, if we listened to people and said to you, what are you doing? You're 40. What are you doing? You're 50, you're 60. Then we would never grow, because, you know, our lifespan as we know it is on average about 90 or 80 years, 90 years. So we live on this earth for that period of time. And okay, obviously when you're 90, you probably can't run a marathon, but that doesn't mean that you can't, for example, still write a good book. You know, so even as we get older, we shouldn't constrain ourselves by our age, which is something that's important in the scene. Because if we said, oh well, you know, I'm 40, I'm not going to start making music because I'm 40, I'm too old, or I'm going to reinvent what I loved from the 80s and share that with the world with a new creativity. Hey, I've still got something to live for, and I'm 40. I'm not dead yet. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
it's life hack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, there's always room to live and to grow. You know, we have to accept our restrictions, but we can still move forward. I think
exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know this. How long have you been involved in the synthwave scene for?
In the synthwave scene since last year, so it's just 1 year, to be honest.
Okay, so tell me, in that year, could you tell me like 2 good things and 2 bad things? It doesn't have to be 2; it can be 1, or 3, or 5, or 10. 2 good things, 2 bad things that you've noticed about the scene since you've been involved.
Well, just come up to my mind that a very good thing is that I could grow. I mean, now I have a small audience, but I do have an audience. It's small, it's not big, but I do have it. And before, I almost didn't have it. And also, it was very hard to promote stuff. And it's sort of, you know, gave me a direction also. And I really like that. And so, it made everything easier, to be honest.
So what you're saying is you're getting a little bit of recognition for the work that you're doing, even though it's not huge. There's, you know, some people out there saying, we love what you're doing, keep doing it, yeah?
Yeah, finally, I have an audience, someone who's listening to my music and they like it, and sometimes they buy, you know, the record on Bandcamp.
Occasionally, they buy the record, yeah. I saw your supporters on Bandcamp. It's not too bad. You're doing okay.
Well, it's okay, but mostly, you know, what the income, even if it's a very low, it comes from basically from Spotify. It's weird to say, but it's the only stable income in music, even though if it's very not that much, but it's still okay. I have
It
to say.
depends, though. There is also an alternative market, which is obviously hard copy release, vinyls, CDs, tapes,
Yeah.
mini disc, and there's a big audience for that on Bandcamp as well. So when you're talking digitally, yeah, okay, Spotify. When you're talking hard copy, you want to invest in Bandcamp.
Yeah, definitely it's Bandcamp. I didn't do it yet. Maybe for next release, I'll see that.
Yeah,
I'm
well, maybe we can
that.
talk about that because I quite liked your release.
That's cool.
But also, don't forget, there's also YouTube, and there's quite a big interest in YouTube and videos and stuff like that. And that's also another platform for all artists or independent artists or artists who join a label to consider, because you know, there's many ways to go about being heard nowadays. So we need to.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's just I do think that when you are like an independent artist, you know, at least that's my opinion or what I did. You try to concentrate on some channels, or you know, or directing people, for example, on Spotify or some on YouTube, some other platforms, but you do have a limited time and resources, so you try to concentrate on what you think can give you the most out of it.
Of
you know,
course.
you can get the best, but yeah,
listen,
there are so
Maro,
many
mate, listen,
channels.
I run a record label. Yeah,
you do know it very well.
my job is to understand every single fucking platform, and
yeah.
I'm telling you, man, like, there's no way, like, even if I was a huge multi-corporate business, right, which I'm not, yeah, maybe I could employ people and I could say, right, you do this section, you do this section, you do this section. But as it stands at the moment, my fingers are in every pie. And, you know, I understand that you cannot concentrate on every platform, every social media, for every release, for every artist, for every tiny thing. You kind of like understand where you get the most exposure. And that, for, you know, people might think that sounds like, you know, oh, you know, people trying to make money. It's not that. It's a very competitive world out there, and trying to get anyone to listen or buy your music is extremely hard. So it's, you know, you need to understand what you're doing. And my point is that for an individual artist, somebody like you, there's a lot of work. Just if you want to get your EP heard, there is a lot of work, and there's a lot of engagement with fans and posting and this and that. And like you said, you don't like social media. It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant.
Yeah, but you learn a lot. That's a good thing.
Of course,
I mean,
yes.
you really learn everything. I've been also with a label for a short, well, it was a couple of years.
Who were you with?
3 years. I was with Shunu Records.
Okay.
But I started doing another kind of music. It was mostly post-rock or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, of course, then we decided together that it didn't work, also because I was changing completely type of music. You know, okay. I really switched to synthwave. So, but of course, I've learned that a lot of stuff you can do it by yourself. But of course, you know, you need to concentrate on something. You cannot do everything. So when you have, for example, a label behind, if they do hard work, if they work for you, you can get, you know, a part of the job done very quickly, and sometimes you just concentrate on something else.
I think for most
artists, it's hard to find them.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, listen, I understand that, and I think, you know, actually, as somebody who has learned everything myself, like everything myself, from media design to how to promote, releasing on all different platforms, about hard copies, everything like that. I understand that what my job is to take away at least 80% of the work for the artist. That's what they pay me to do, so that they can focus on their music. But I can also understand artists who like the hands-on approach, who want to do everything themselves. And I've got nothing against people who do that. I will say this though, that not all record labels, sorry, I got to defend myself. Not all
yeah, of course.
No, but just so people know, not all record labels are big, bad bastards. Some record labels work really, really hard. I guess it depends on the morality of the people running the record label. And it's a lot of work.
But of course, I do understand. I mean, for me, it wasn't a bad experience, to be honest. It was just, of course, I understand the record labels. You have to survive in some way. You have to work to get something back, right? To survive. Like we for the music. I mean, if you don't have another job,
no one does anything for free, do they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
Yeah.
So it's normal. I mean, you have to find your own way. But I know that record labels can really help the artist, but you really need to. I don't know you guys, for example, but for me in general, you really need to know the person. And, you know, for example, we are talking now, but with some people, I had people try and send me just an email and tell me, yeah, look, this is awesome, well, let's do this. And when you don't even know the person, or, you know, they try in any way to get the most out of it, even if it's like few cents. Yeah. Maybe they have 200 artists and
and
they get 1 cent from each one.
Sorry, a bit of connection there. Sometimes I think I understood what you're saying is sometimes it's a sales pitch. And I think actually that is really, really important, that when a label and an artist come together, that they have a connection and that they understand, they've got the similar goals, because there's no point you signing to a label and them not understanding who you are and where you're trying to go. It's a very difficult balancing act, because some people just want to sign with a label and they just want to release, because of the name of the label. But in general, I totally agree with you. I think it's, and again, you know, this is what we try to do. We try to work with the artists and speak to them all the time, which can be very difficult and time consuming. But overall, I think when you work with the artists really closely, you get a better quality and a better personal feel with the releases and what's going on and stuff like that. Maybe people don't see that from the outside, but from the inside, people know that's what's happening.
Yeah, we have to say also that not all the artists are nice people, I guess.
And not all the record labels are nice people. No, there's horrible people everywhere, of course. Okay, right. Listen, let's move away from record labels and the boringness of record labels. What about the future for you?
What is going to be my future? That was the question. Sorry.
Well, it's a difficult question. I mean, can you predict it? No. I mean, what have you got? Any plans? Any future releases? Live events? Music? What's going on?
Well, to be honest, what I want to do next year, I don't think I'm going to release a new album. So this time I'm going to try, because I've released like 2 albums in the last 2 years. And I would like to try to do some singles and maybe an EP next year. I see many people is releasing stuff every month. And for me, I understand this is how it works now, because everybody wants to be there constantly. I don't think I can do that. You know, it's like crazy.
You know what? You've just spoken about the problem that I face all the time. There's 2 questions, right? Should you release often and a lot? Or should you go more old-fashioned and take your time and release properly? It's such a hard question. Some people like to release regularly and often, but I think as an individual artist, maybe that's not the way forward, because how can you guarantee quality, consistency, you know, diversity in your music if you're releasing an EP every month? But if you're a record label and you've got one artist releasing 1 month and then another artist releasing the next month, so you've got regular releases, I don't think that's necessarily a problem because you're spacing out the releases between artists. But some artists really do feel like they want to release a lot and more often. I think as long as, I guess, I don't really know, as long as the quality's there, there's no problem. There's no problem.
Exactly.
But it's an individual thing. I think it's an individual thing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you can do a quality track every month and release it, I wish I was like that.
I couldn't. Honestly, I couldn't release an EP every month or an EP every 6 months, every 6 weeks.
Not really. I cannot do that.
But maybe I'm not very talented. I mean, I don't know. Maybe these guys are talented and have practiced a lot and can do it. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Everything is possible. I don't know, but for me, it's not the case. I mean, maybe if I really concentrate and, but I don't think I could, you know, do something of qualities. I cannot do quality tracks in a month and just release it. But this is my way of doing stuff. You know, I don't think I'm really able to follow this path. Maybe I will change my mind.
No. I think it's fine. I think it's fine, Mauro. Listen, I think it's absolutely, what you're saying is absolutely fine. And you know, I've got an artist at the moment, sorry, a band at the moment who are getting ready to produce a vinyl release for me. And the singer, the vocalist, has said to me, look, I'm really struggling. He said, I'm having a bit of a hard time getting the vocals down for like the last 4 or 5 tracks. And I said to him, don't rush it. I goes, whatever you do not rush it. Just get it right, yeah? And if it takes a little bit longer, I don't care. You know, because I'm prepared to wait, because I prefer that the final piece went out and it was the right piece, you know, rather than, oh, I've got this time constraint from my record label, you know, I'm going to have to do it. And then it turns out and it's a bit forced and it's a bit rubbish. What's the point of that? No one wants to hear that, do they?
Yeah, you're totally right. Well, that's good when someone from a label is saying that, you know, at least to his artist. That's very good for them.
Well, if the music's bad, it makes me look bad.
I wanted to say also, I've listened to one of your artists. It's Alex Vecchietti. I really like one of his songs. I really love it.
Which one?
It was the last one released. If you ask me for the title, it was something.
The album was called "When the Nothing Shines."
When the Nothing, yeah, exactly, something like this.
Was it Descent?
I don't remember, man, because I've listened it while working today, and I thought, oh, this stuff I like it, so I will come back to your page. It's actually
reach out to him. I mean, he you know he's an Italian, so I'm sure he'll appreciate another Italian who likes it.
Yeah, I read this from Palermo too, right?
Yeah, we're down the road, man. I'm 5 kilometers down the road from him, yeah, and he helped me set up the company. So, you know, please do reach out to him. He absolutely, you know, as everyone, you know, appreciates any feedback on his music, and maybe you guys could talk about collaboration or something. I'm sure it'd be.
Well, that will be cool.
Okay, listen. All right, Mauro, thank you so much for your time today. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you. You're a very nice, relaxed guy. I really like your vibe. I really like the things you said about music in general. And you know, total pleasure to have you with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me here for this interview. I'm really looking forward to see myself in this interview, because I never seen myself in an interview, so it's gonna be fun.
Cool. Right.